Monday. I need another bottle. Anyways, welcome. I am thrilled to be talking to you all about aroma freedom technique today. We have a lot to cover in 45 minutes, so let's get to it. My name is Dory Doyle. I am a silver leader with Young Living, and I am a certified practitioner with Aroma Freedom. And I'm working on my level 2 certification with Aroma Freedom Technique. I finished my level 1, basically meaning that I could do these sessions with people and feel confident about what I was talking about. And I can also charge for sessions, which is a nice little benefit. But then that just wasn't enough. This is such a movement. There is such a huge following for this. And as you can see, this is now the second session that we've been able to fill out the room, which is very exciting. So anyways, because we have such a limited time and there's a lot that we're going to do with this demo, I just want to ask that you're fully present. So I'm going to ask that you don't take pictures, don't do video, with the exception of Rachel over there is videoing for me. Thank you. But I will have all of the slides available, and that's what these sheets are going around. And then if you love this so much and you're like, I need an individual session, a group session with my team, with the people that I work with outside of Young Living, whoever, or I want to get certified in it, there's a spot that you can let me know. But otherwise, it's you want these slides, and I'll send them to you. All right. So, let's talk a little bit about aroma freedom. So what is it? You're going to hear me refer to it as AFT or aroma freedom. It's a new modality that uses a series of steps along with imagery and aromatherapy, and it allows you to identify what you really want to achieve in life. You can clear out resistance and the things that are blocking you, and you can find freedom with a permanent shift in your viewpoint. So what you really do is you're able to reprogram these limiting beliefs so that you can reshape your subconscious. It's pretty outstanding. So here's some benefits. Those who experience aroma freedom, they have incredible growth. It's clarity of what they're meant to do, ability to remove the blocks of negative emotional patterns that are limiting, overcoming doubt or procrastination, and able to have a newfound feeling of confidence to realize your goals. So who can benefit? Yeah, all of us. We can all benefit. I will tell you, even my 3-year-old son, we use a variation of AFT on him every single day, and he benefits immensely. He is a wonderful special needs boy, and we use it with him because it's beneficial. So anyways, business builders, business owners, those involved in peak performance, so athletes before a big event, business presentations, students before testing, which I know that we're in the springtime season, so this is huge for them. Those who suffer from chronic pain. So the body can channel physical pain, or channel emotional pain into physical pain. And so we can actually utilize aroma freedom to help clear out some of that pain. Patients who are about to receive chiropractic, massage, or acupuncture work. Couples, if you're struggling with your weight. If you want to increase your intuition, and you're going to find as you go through this that intuition is a really big part of it. Some people call it their gut. That's something that I'm going to ask you to call on over and over again throughout the demo. Mental health professionals, if you want to realize your dreams and desires, or if you're dealing with children, or as I said, just children. Children can benefit as well. All right, so a little bit about aroma freedom. It was developed by Dr. Benjamin Purkis, and he is a clinical psychotherapist since '95 and an essential oil user since 2001. So he has quite the experience. He's been trained in multiple psychotherapeutic approaches, brain-based therapies, energy work, and he utilized all of that knowledge to make aroma freedom as powerful as it is. So, a little bit about smell in the brain. I am not a science person, so I'm going to dumb this down so that it makes sense to me, so hopefully it's just nice and quick overview. So anyways, the sense of smell is the body's first sense, and it's automatic. It's below that level of subconscious, it's below the level of consciousness. So on a biology level, the olfactory nerve connects to the limbic system, which controls the primitive avoidance or approach mechanism. So that's basically, is something safe or unsafe. So think of rotting food, okay? You smell rotting food. Do you want to eat it? No. That's because that's your body saying, no, I don't want that, that's avoidance. And so when we have an emotional response to something, on some level there's going to be a hesitancy because of the safety of it. And that could be physical, usually fear, or it could be emotional, and that's going to be whether you're embarrassed or nervous about something. And so we can utilize essential oils through that sense of smell. It goes to the amygdala, and we can use it to help us control these emotions, that fear, that embarrassment, nervousness. We can help it with all of that. All right. So how many of you have ever felt stuck in something? Absolutely. So if you're feeling stuck, there's probably a lot of reasons for why that is, and it really can become a vicious cycle. So we have negative thoughts that lead to negative feelings, that lead to negative behaviors, and it circles right back to negative thoughts. So why is that negative thought there to begin with? Well, it's a protective mechanism. It's this bodyguard to protect our inner self from not getting hurt. So there was probably a time in our past, some say childhoods, could be very recently, that we were laughed at. We felt embarrassed, unsure about something. And so in Aroma Freedom, what we do is we start with that negative thought, we go back to the negative feeling, and then we go back to the negative memory where it started. And we don't fight with the voice, because if we fight it, that only gives it more power. So a lot of times when you think of trying to be positive, trying to move forward, you're just trying to ignore that negative voice. But sometimes that's really difficult to do. So actually in Aroma Freedom, what we do is we give into it a little bit. And then we can actually work with the oils to move past it. And we're going to dissolve that negative voice. All right, so a little bit of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So if you know anything about this, we know that as each level is met, we begin a quest to go towards the next level. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to think, where do you fit right now with your needs? You might be down here, that you're trying to really focus on some of your basic needs. Maybe you're further up here, finding that love, belonging, or esteem. Maybe you're doing pretty well and you're working towards self-actualization. So we're happiest when we're pursuing goals that takes us up that ladder. And so I really want you to think about that as we work towards finding an intuition or an intention and where we're going to go. All right. So let's actually talk about the steps of Aroma Freedom. All right, so we start with intention. That's where you have this purpose of what you want to do. And you want to give it a ranking, and that's where we can really judge how things are going throughout the whole session. So you give it a ranking from 0 to 10, and I'll walk you through all this. This is just the overview. And then we're going to recognize an inner voice, a negative inner voice that's telling us why that's not possible. And so then we're going to identify the emotion that we feel when we hear that negative voice. Then there's going to be a physical part of the body where that emotion is housed. And we then associate that feeling, that emotion, and that feeling in the body with a memory. And this is where I really say trust your intuition, because a lot of times that memory has no relation to your original intention. It's kind of a beautiful thing when that happens. And so then after we've found that memory, we've explored it a little bit, then we pull out our oils. And we smell the oils, and we allow ourselves to explore that memory. recognizing changes that happen as we think of that memory, new beliefs that emerge. And then once we've done that, we look back at our intention. And we rate it again. See how are we doing with all of this. And then we might do it one or two more times just to see the movement, the momentum that's going with it. And then we're going to seal in the newfound positive outlook with an affirmation and an action plan. So that's the steps that we'll go through. 12 steps with some that we can repeat as needed. All right, so again, for the next series of slides, no pictures, again, I will send them to you so you'll have them in really beautiful form, not just the kind on your phone. No one takes pictures like that anymore. In my mind, I still do. So anyways, if you have a piece of paper, get it out. If anyone needs a piece of paper, you raise your hand, and maybe someone will share with you. So you want paper, you want a pen. Raise your hand if you need paper or a pen. All right. Do we have friends that can help them out? Thank you. Who else needs? All right, everyone good? Have paper, pen, or pencil? If you want to write in crayon, I really don't care. It's fine. Okay. You guys ready? All right. So, the first thing that you're going to do is set your intention. And you want to choose something that you want to achieve, but you're procrastinating or it just seems a little too difficult to achieve, to obtain. So it could be business, it could be personal, could be a wellness goal. I did one recently where it had to do with cravings, had to do with just wanting to eat food, wanting to eat sugar. Amazing results. Ask me about it afterwards and I'll tell you about it. It was crazy awesome. But so set your intention. Now, you often want to have that be positive. So, I am a diamond. Well, I'm not. But that's the intention. Or I will be the rank of diamond by convention. Well, for me, that feels pretty hard to obtain, considering I'm still trying to get to gold right now. That's pretty far off. So, for me, that might be a 0. You want something that's hard. You want something that's difficult to obtain because when that happens, that's when you can really knock down some barriers. All right, so go ahead and write down your intention. Sometimes people, if they're really stuck, you can use clarity or peppermint during this phase. Clarity would be the one that I would recommend. However, the beauty of this is that you can teach this tool, this Aroma Freedom, as a 101 class. You can do the entire session with oils from the Premium Starter Kit. So I'll be giving you some options throughout all of this of how you would do that. So peppermint would be the option while you're setting an intention. I don't have clarity for you today, but you can use that if you're having trouble. All right. Just another idea. You might make a T-chart if you're really struggling with trying to come up with an intention. Think of things that people have told you your entire life. Negative things. You're weak, stupid, ugly, overwhelmed. All of these things that you've heard, whether it's someone actually telling you or you've told yourself. And then we can take that and we can turn it to the positive opposite of that. And then that would then be our intention. So that's a way that you could do it too if you're struggling with an intention. And then what I want you to do once you've gotten that intention is rank it from the scale of 0 to 10. 0 meaning that it is impossible. There is no way, Dory, that I'm ever going to be able to achieve that. And 10 meaning, yes, I got it. It's done. So I'll tell you if it's around that 7, 8, 9, 10, we want to make it harder. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything out of the session. So put a time limit on it. So that's why I said, I'm diamond. Well, that might be a little bit easier for me to associate with, because yeah, I might feel like a diamond. But if I say I'm going to be a diamond by convention, yeah, that's a lot harder. And so that's when my rating lowers. Does that make sense? All right. So we can put a time limit to it. So go ahead and give yourself a number. Everyone feel like they have that? So then I want you to say that intention to yourself. And listen for the negative voice that comes out. Yeah, listen for the very first thing that it's telling you. Write it down. You're crazy. It's impossible. You don't have time for that. You don't have the patience. Whatever it is, listen for that negative voice. And how do you feel when you hear that negative voice? Emotion-wise. So we want it to be one word. Mad, sad, angry, lonely, discouraged. We want to make sure that it's not a judgment. Judgment would be, he doesn't love me. That's a judgment. That's what someone else is putting on you. You want it to be an emotion from within. What are some of the emotions that are speaking to you when you hear that negative voice? You can just call it out. Crushed. Sad. Broken.
Helpless.
Yeah. This is where you really get to be in tune with your body. When you have that emotion, where do you feel it? Could be your head. And I like to be really specific. Where in your head? Your temples, the back of your head, your ears. I had one recently where it was my right ear. Very specific, but that's where I felt that emotion. Your heart, your gut, your hands. Where do you feel that negative emotion? All right, now here's where you really have to trust your intuition. Drift back to an earlier time when you felt that same way. When you felt that emotion and you felt that feeling, that physical feeling. It may not make any sense to you. It may not have any relation to your original intention. But the first thing that comes to your head could be recent, could be long ago. Write a few notes about it. You don't have to go into a lot of detail. But also recognize that for some people that might be a snapshot, just a picture. For some people it might be a movie. For some people they can't even think of that memory because the emotion and the physical aspect of it is so overwhelming, and that's okay. But if you can, think of that memory. Here's where, can I have a volunteer to help me? Could you? Okay, all right. So if you'll go around, and I'm gonna break the cardinal rule of oiling. We're gonna take this and we're gonna drop it into your hand, and you're actually gonna touch the orifice. I am sorry, it's the quickest way to do it with this number of people, yes. can rub your hands together. Come it over your nose and mouth. And breathe into that memory. Breathe into that. Breathe into that memory. Breathe into that emotion. Breathe into that physical feeling. All right, and for this, close your eyes and get lost in that memory. Get lost. So close your eyes. Think about that memory. Explore all parts of it. What were you seeing? What were you thinking about? What were you hearing? Allow yourself to experience it fully. Remember that emotion, that physical pain, discomfort. But also allow yourself to be swept up in other memories that come to you. Other things that just come to you and you just can't get them out of your mind. Let them come. Welcome them. Explore them. And then let them go. You may notice a change, a shift. There may be new beliefs that come. Just allow yourselves to explore and go with what you're experiencing. When you feel like you've gone as far as you can go, you may lower your hands. Now I want you to look back at your intention once you feel like you've gone as far. If you need to keep breathing into the oils, that's fine. But go back to your original intention. Read it to yourself. And give it a rating from that 0 to 10. How possible does that feel? So I would love to hear if you feel comfortable sharing your numbers. Just shout out your first number and then this next number.
I had 2, and then I went for 5.
Okay. 2 to a 5.
2 and 7.
2 to a 7.
I was saying 2 and 7.
2 to 7.
2 and
2 to 8. Right. Did anyone go backwards? Because that happens. A lot of times when we release memories, because we call this the memory release blend. When we release memories, sometimes we do go backwards. There's just a lot that comes on us and it just feels a little bit harder, and that's okay. So if that happened, that's all right. We'll keep working. All right, so that's round 1. We're going to do it again. intention, you gave it a ranking now after that first round. So I want you to listen for that negative voice. You might need to read your intention one more time. But what is that negative voice telling you now? Could be the same, could be different. Who wants to share what that negative voice is saying?
Mine says you shouldn't try because you'll just fail.
Yeah. Thank you.
You can't change.
No confidence because you fail so much.
Thank you all for sharing. So I want you to think, what is that emotion that you feel when you hear that negative voice? Sad, upset, furious,
Word.
burdened. All right, write it down. And then think about that part of your physical body, and I'll come and get those. I'll come and get those after. Each one keep them there. Thanks. Where do you feel that on your body? The heart, the shoulders, back, the feet, your eyes. And think about a memory where you had that emotion and that feeling in your body. The first one that comes to you does not have to make sense, does not have to be related to anything else you've experienced today. You need to write a couple of words to remind yourself of that memory so you can look back at it. That's fine. I'm looking for my outputs. There we go. All right. I need to have it again. All right. We're going to come around again. As soon as you get the oil, you can go ahead and tap it over your nose and mouth. Smell into it. Explore all parts of it. Inner child.
Oh, inner child. Yeah.
Remember that waves or emotions are like waves. Like a wave, it's not going to last forever. If we try to fight it, if we try to fight that emotion, we're just going to keep getting backlash from it. If you try to run away from the wave, it's going to feel like you are always being chased. If you try to erect a wall to block out that wave, that emotion, it's going to keep crashing against it. So allow yourself to experience the ups and the downs of that memory, of that emotion. Allow yourself to welcome in new experiences, new thoughts, new memories. And even possibly some new beliefs. You may find that as you are working through, that your memories are fading, shifting, melting away, harder to grasp, or even they might become stronger. When you felt that shift, that change, feel like you've gone as far as you can go. You can lower your hands. Take a look at your intention again. How possible does that feel? Give it a rating. Would anyone like to share their experience? And don't feel like you have to. Yes.
The first time we went through this, I remember reading about that feeling as well. Currents, and then releasing that. So then it took me to sort of we can go from the 2 to the 7.
Mm-hmm.
Then this time going through the memory of that and also the version of wave, but was from more like further back,
Mhm.
5, 7, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't feel that I came back to the 7, 8, maybe the 6.
Sure.
And then a little bit of sadness, but
Yeah.
I just find it interesting that that same feeling, the first time was, just say, a couple of months ago. The way that it happened years ago was not good.
Absolutely. And that is very normal, that when you've made some progress forward, that sometimes you can go backwards. And so that's just one thing where I do say trust that intuition, that if your intuition is saying doesn't feel as possible, that that intention just doesn't feel like it as much as it did a little bit ago, then go with that. So, what were your 3 numbers so far? Does anyone like to share their 3 numbers? Yes.
When I was 2, and then 7, and then 0.
Okay.
And it was similar for me.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
much longer ago.
Okay. All right. Can we do another round? Let's do another round. So, typically we will continue this until the person has reached 7, 8, 9, 10, probably 8, 9, or 10. However, in a group setting like this, it's very hard to judge. So, if you're at a 10, awesome, great. Celebrate, and if you want to do this round with us, you're welcome to. Otherwise, I would love to do it again, because sometimes this will help with that last little breakthrough. And sometimes we need more than just 3 rounds. And so that would be something that you would want to explore. So you have that intention, you've rated it. Listen for that inner voice. That negative voice, what is it telling you now? Even if you're at a 9, there will be a negative voice. Right? And how do you feel when you hear that negative voice? Don't forget to write it down. Sometimes that makes it a little bit more real. That's what we want to do. We want to go head on and face it. And then after you've found that emotion, where do you feel it in your body? associated with that emotion. Once you've had that, once you have that emotion, that memory, that feeling in your body, breathe into the oil. Yes, that's right. Sometimes it'll show up as a snapshot. Sometimes it'll show up as a movie. And sometimes you just won't get one at all. Allow whatever feelings surface to just pass through you as you smell the oil. Remind yourself that emotions are like waves. And like waves, no wave lasts forever. Just ride the wave until you get to the other side. When you feel like you have felt a shift, a change, maybe there's a new belief. Lower your hands. There's something that came to you as a new belief, as this idea. Write it down. And look at that intention. Give it a rating. How possible does it feel now? Where are we? Where are we now? What's your final number? 7. Okay. 8? 9? And where did you start with your 7?
A 3.
3. So
And I
where's your 7?
stayed at 3 the second time. And then the last time, it was really funny because when I tried to grasp it, everything was blank, but I just kept seeing a face. And I was trying to figure out what that was. And the only thing that came into my mind was God is in control.
I hope you wrote, did you write that down?
Mm-hmm.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times we will have things come to us, and it's just so powerful. It actually can be a big part of this next step. So again, if I were doing this session one-on-one with you, or if you were doing this on your own, because this is absolutely possible. You don't need me to do this. Sometimes it's helpful to have someone facilitate, because we can really walk you through, but you can do this on your own if you have the oils. But we would keep going until you're at that 8, 9, or 10. But for now, in the group setting, we have to stop. We're going to create an affirmation. And this is where if you had this new belief that came, then maybe that's your affirmation. Now I know that if you talk, ULA or just positive self-talk, we talk a lot about affirmations, and affirmations can be so powerful. We can go from feeling really bad about ourselves to really good, and it's just positive self-talk. That's the only thing that changes. So we want to take all of these negativities, these negative emotions and feelings and thoughts, and we want to focus on that positive outlook that we've been able to get from today. So you want it to be an I statement, usually. Sometimes it's not. And you want it to be present tense. So I am enough. I can do this. I am worthy. Those are some examples. Who else has an affirmation that just they feel so powerful, so positive about it after this? All right. So we're going to take that affirmation. Power pose. Now, do you know anything about power poses? They're awesome. Okay, so power poses can be a variety of different things. For me, well actually for everyone, you want to have your feet planted firmly on the ground, and it can be in a variety of different poses. You can have your hands on your hips. Hands clenched is a good source of strength. Or you could, if you want to have a bit more grounding, you could have your hands out, your fingers out. You could also be welcoming the energies of the world. Hands out, here, up, and you could even have your hands on your heart if you're getting your energy and that affirmation from within. So there's a few varieties there. So, we're going to hand out the oils. We're going to do believe for this one. There we go. Thank you for your help. All right, so I want you to be thinking about that affirmation. If you need a little bit more time for your affirmation, that's fine. You're going to all stand up, and you're going to do the affirmation. Now, and it might be easier if you stay sitting down until you get your oils, otherwise it's going to make it hard. But what you'll do is you will say that you will breathe in the oil, say the affirmation 1, 2, 3 times until you need a good whiff of that oil again. And then keep saying it. Now I know in a group like this, it's we don't always want to say that affirmation out loud. So if you're going to say it to yourself, say it with conviction. That's my big request. Now would I love for you to say it out loud and say it like nice and strong? Absolutely, but I understand that may not be possible. All right, so go ahead. Stand up. Plant your feet firmly on the ground. Find that power from within and outside as well. And say your affirmation. options there if you're just using premium starter kit oils. But that's not the last step. It's 12 different steps. We want to have an action plan. You want to make a plan, and you want to take action daily. My advice would be take this affirmation and say it the very first thing in the morning when you wake up, and the very last thing before you go to bed. Make sure that you have an oil by your bedside table too. It might just be lemon if that's what you have. Or if it's another feel-good oil, you could do that as well. My advice would be probably not inner child and probably not release because of how we used them in the actual sessions. We want one of those good, uplifting, positive oils. But there's more to it than just the affirmation. You do have to take action. So, I mean, you know, I can teach you how to climb a mountain, but I can't put you at the top. So you do have to do that work, but hopefully what this will do is it will help remove some of those boulders that are in your way.
Right.
Some of the, you know, the bad shoes. Maybe I'm giving you some good shoes now to use as you're hiking. So you do have to do the work, but hopefully this takes away some of that negative self-talk and that negative belief. So, just as a review, these are the steps. Going all the way from understanding that negativity, feeling that negativity, allowing it to really take hold, and then being able to work through it. I told you that I use this with my son. What we do for him, because I'm not doing all these steps. If he is in the middle of a fit, a tantrum, I don't call them tantrums because they're more than that for him. So what we will do is we'll take an oil, and often it's release. Sometimes it's the memory release blend, which was sacred, stress away, frankincense, lavender. And we'll put it in our hand. Sometimes he wants it in his hands too. And we just cup it over his nose and mouth. And we say, it sounds like you're angry. Are you angry? Are you mad? What's causing you to be mad? And you know, we're using words that he knows, but we're also starting to expand his vocabulary. Are you disappointed that you can't, blah, blah, blah. And so we let him do that. The first time that I did that with him, and I mean, we are talking full-blown, you know, hitting, kicking, biting, all of these things. The moment we sat him in our laps and did that, within moments, we said, Mommy, I'm not mad anymore. Because we let him give into that. We didn't try to push it away. We didn't say, no, that's bad that you're feeling that way. We let him experience it, and we let the oils do what they're supposed to do and work through that. So that's just an example of how I use it with my son. But you can do that with yourself. If you're having a particularly bad moment and you just can't get past it, or you feel like it's kind of rising in intensity, breathe into that negativity. Because if you breathe into it, if you allow it to be there, it's not going to have power over you. It's just a couple of techniques. If you don't have time for a full-on session, and typically the first time we do it, it takes longer. Any subsequent session would last maybe 20 minutes to do a full aroma freedom. But if you just need to breathe into the negativity, that's okay. So, I love this quote from Dr. Perkis. Happiness is not a goal in and of itself. It is a side effect of doing what you are meant to do. I think it's pretty powerful. All right, so just a couple of stats, and we're kind of running low on time. So I'll send this to you, but this is typically where people rank within the sessions and how you see changes. So I did mention there is a certified practitioner program. I am working to get a cohort here locally in Virginia of people who want to be certified in this. It has done wonders for my Young Living business. I work with my builders, and it's great to help release some of those negative feelings and thoughts. But I am hoping to get one started pretty soon, and we have quite a bit of interest, which is really exciting. So we can do locally, you can do it online as well if you want to do what I do. Not that you have to speak in front of everyone, but if you think that it would help yourself personally or help your business, or you just want to get more experience in this. It's a fantastic program. It allows you to market yourself as a certified practitioner, but it really lets you get in depth on this. There are a couple of other variations of this and other lot of emotional detox. We hear physical detox, using the oils and cleanses. But there's a lot of emotions that we keep bottled up, and when we can work through that, we can become a much happier, much more whole person. And so that's something we said. So anyways, that's just a little bit about that. I have those forms. I'll come and pick them up. If now you're like, oh, now I really want more information, just go find it and we can check it off and I can get you more information. But thank you guys so much for being here.